how's it going? For today's video, I'm proud to present an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the Alfa Romeo 4C Launch Edition. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the 4C. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clipping over the performance data, and show you many of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Prestige Imports Lamborghini Miami, located in Miami, Florida, for providing the 4C featured in today's in-depth review. For more information on their dealership, including contact info and current exotic inventory, feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. We'll talk more about what makes the Launch Edition unique a little later in the video, but they come in 3 different colors. This particular one is finished in Rosso Alpha, and is paired with a black leather interior with red accent stitching and ribbed microfiber portion across the middle of the seats. The instrument display still has the factory protective plastic over it, so that's why you see some bubbling over it. It's not every day a new car comes out as pure as the 4C. For example, the steering is completely mechanical, there's no power assistance, keeping the driver fully integrated with the car's behavior. Alfa claims the steering ratio, which comes in at 15.7 to 1 and 2.7 turns to lock, allows 90% of the potential curves to be taken without ever having to reposition your hands, which should do wonders for those who plan to track their car. The leather and Alcantara 2-spoke steering wheel has a broad, flat-bottom design with perforated leather on the upper grips and color accent red stitching with this Launch Edition. The 4C comes exclusively with a 6-speed dual dry clutch transmission, as there's no manual option, routed through the buttons with a carbon fiber plate in the center console. Selecting one places the car in first gear or drive. A/M allows you to switch between automatic and manual shifting, with N and R corresponding to neutral and reverse. Once placed in reverse, parking sensors activate to help assist with parking. The TCT or twin clutch transmission not only enhances performance with rapid gear changes and overall responsiveness when compared to a traditional manual, but it also allows full manual shiftability via the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, or like I said, the convenience of automatic gear changes, all tied to Alfa's signature DNA driving modes, which we'll discuss more in just a bit. Power is sent to the rear wheels through Alfa Romeo's electronic Q2 differential control system, essentially a type of traction control that works through an open differential. Rather than dispersing torque to the wheel with the most traction like a limited slip diff, the brake-based Q2 system works to slow a spinning wheel to bring it more in line to its counterpart. For Alfa Romeo, the DNA selector in the center console is an acronym for the 3 main driving modes: dynamic, natural, and all-weather. A more aggressive race mode is added for the 4C, activated while holding the selector to dynamic for a few seconds. All weather dampens the throttle in addition to implementing specific engine and braking parameters for improved acceleration and control in less than ideal road conditions. Natural is essentially the default setting, balancing between comfort and sport with smoother gear changes. Dynamic dials everything up a bit, increasing engine and throttle responsiveness, and shortens gear changes by 25%, as well as lessening stability control innervation. Race mode passes the baton to the driver, so to speak, as both the stability control and anti-slip regulation systems are disabled. ESC will only intervene to prevent loss of control under extreme braking, while gear changes are performed manually. While in race mode, launch control is engaged by simultaneously depressing the brake and accelerator while pulling on the left paddle on the steering wheel. Once you release the brake, the car does the rest to maximize takeoff.
And so we're going to flip on the bi-xenon LED accented headlamps, as well as the hazards. The window controls are located right behind your power mirrors in the center console and are automatic down. So, let's go and check out the exterior.
It's been quite some time since Alfa Romeos were regularly sold in North America. After leaving the States in the mid-90s, the only model to appear since was the stunningly exotic limited production 8C Competizione in 2008. The 4C, on the other hand, has an entirely different mission. It's not only spearheading Alfa Romeo's return to the North American market, but it's one of the most significant new Alfa models to debut in recent time. Why is that? In my eyes, the 4C represents the closest thing to a purist sports car you can currently buy, especially for us since the Lotus Elise is no longer sold here. Sure, there are plenty of competitors in the segment and price point, the Porsche Cayman likely being the closest, but the 4C is built on one purpose: driving. Underneath the beautifully sculpted exterior is a motorsport-derived carbon fiber monocoque with front and rear aluminum chassis structures. Its styling and proportions is said to be inspired from classic Alfas such as the 1967 33 Stradale. Even the name 4C or 4 cylinders pays homage to classic 8C and 6C models of the 30s and 40s, which stood for 8 and 6 cylinder respectively. In celebration of the 4C's launch, the 500 special launch editions will be the first batch of 4Cs sold in North America. Each car is numbered and features a brushed aluminum plaque riveted into the center console. Available in 3 colors, Rosso Competizione, Madre Perla White, and Rosso Alpha, the launch edition comes with pretty much every option and performance add-on you can get for the 4C. Up front you have bi-xenon headlamps with LED daytime running lamps and a unique front fascia that incorporates small air diverters to either side. Our cars get more conventional looking headlamps than the Euro spec, but still feature a carbon fiber inner housing with 4C embedded inside. Carbon fiber even dresses up the mirror caps in addition to the carbon fiber rear spoiler and lower driver's side vent. The track package suspension is tuned for race duty, including the addition of front and rear stabilizer bars and performance shocks. Out back, a large black aluminum diffuser works to stabilize and create downforce at speed, while the racing exhaust with twin polished pipes further adds to a racing feel with deletion of the rear muffler. It's so loud and addictive in person. You also get a set of forged, dark gray staggered wheels with red brake calipers. The chassis structure, as I mentioned earlier, is composed of a one-piece carbon fiber monocoque weighing just 236 pounds. It's hand-laid in a specific amount and pattern for US cars to comply with our stricter safety regulations, making it weigh just a little bit more when compared to Euro cars. Carbon fiber is becoming more and more common in the performance sector for its low weight and high strength, leading to an extremely rigid chassis and improved safety for both occupants. Bolting up to the monocoque are lightweight aluminum support frames for the suspension, engine, transmission, and more. They also serve as crash structures to protect the monocoque. In addition to the subframes, the 4C features aluminum roof reinforcements and an aluminum engine mounting frame. The bodywork, a signature highlight of Alfa Romeo's, is completely made of sheet-molded composite, 20% lighter and dimensionally more rigid than steel. The front and rear bumper covers also contribute to a 20% weight savings with injected polyurethane fascias and rear spoiler if you don't opt for the carbon fiber spoiler. If that's not enough, the windscreen and side windows use 10% thinner glass for a 15% weight reduction. The 4C is really one of the prettiest cars I've seen in a while. I've always been a big fan of Alfa Romeo styling, but the sleek curves combined with a wide, low ground stance and flared fenders give off a real sense of motion and athleticism. The front end is characterized by a prominent V shape that begins at the base of the windshield and flows down the fixed hood to meet with the triangular grille. Together with the two black mesh side intakes that feed air to the oil cooler and radiator, they form what's known as the trefoil, a signature Alfa design trait. Small projecting winglets to either side of the front fascia add a touch of aggression. The 4C is a prime example of how to design a car that not only speaks to your emotions but generates net downforce and impressive aerodynamics. At the peak of the headlamps where they meet into the fenders, another defining body line sweeps past the A-pillars and down the sides before meeting with the large intakes in the upper rear flanks. The surrounding bodywork then wraps around the vents and jettisons into the middle of the doors in order to direct cool air to both the engine intake and intercooler as efficiently as possible. Flared rocker panels direct air into a Launch Edition exclusive carbon fiber vent only found on the driver's side of the vehicle, which I believe serves for additional brake cooling. In the rear, more curves sprout from the air intakes and door panels, flowing across the rear shoulders before meeting into an upswept deck lid. The rear window with black mesh heat extractors to either side give a great view of the engine. Out back, you'll find twin circular LED tail lamps, US-specific bumper cover, and one of the most elegant rear diffusers on the market, highlighted by twin polished pipes. As previously mentioned, the 4C Launch Edition features staggered dark gray forged aluminum alloy wheels measuring 18 by 7 inches in front and 19 by 8.5 inches in the rear, with 205/40 and 235/35 tires respectively. They represent the largest diameter wheels for the 4C, and with the optional Pirelli P0 AR racing tires as seen here, it's said to be able to achieve up to 1.1 G of lateral acceleration according to Alfa Romeo. The entry model features 17 by 7 inch wheels in front and 18 by 8 inch wheels in the rear. Multiple wheel styles are available. Bringing the car to a stop from 62 miles an hour takes just 118 feet thanks to 4-wheel cross-drilled ventilated disc brakes, measuring 12 by 1.1 inches in front, clamped by 4-piston Brembo calipers, and 11.5 by 0.87 inches in the rear with dual opposing calipers. Aiding in handling is a fully independent suspension with double wishbones in front, composed of high-strength steel control arms, aluminum knuckles, and tubular stabilizer bar. In addition to revised dampers, the control arms are unique to the US spec, as Euro cars get cast aluminum control arms. Alfa claims the changes to enhance durability on our roads while preserving weight loss, as they still weigh less than a conventional steel piece. The wishbones are affixed directly to the monocoque, including a coaxial spring shock assembly. The rear, on the other hand, uses a McPherson strut layout, also with high-strength steel tubular control arms and aluminum knuckles. The struts are composed of shock absorbers with hollow piston rods and side load springs, designed to reduce ground height and weight for greater grip and response out back. Overall length is 157.5 inches with a width of 73.5 inches and a height of 46.6 inches, riding on a 93.7 inch wheelbase. Total curb weight for US cars is just over 2,400 pounds with a weight balance of 41% in front and 59% in the rear. With its super light curb weight, it doesn't take much to get the 4C up and rolling. Its transverse mounted all-aluminum 1.7-liter turbocharged and intercooled 4-cylinder develops 237 horsepower at 6,000 RPM thanks to as much as 21.8 psi of boost, and 258 pound-feet of torque between 2,200 and 4,250 RPM. 80% of that peak torque is available at just 1,800 RPM, with max engine speed of 6,500 RPM. It's a fully modern power plant with double overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, dual variable valve timing, wastegate pressure control valve for the turbo, a compression ratio of 9.3 to 1, and direct fuel injection. According to Alfa, the 4C can achieve 60 miles an hour in a brisk 4.5 seconds, with real-world testing showing a few tenths of a second less. Top speed is limited to 158 miles an hour. Engine weight is reduced by nearly 49 pounds thanks to a plentiful use of lightweight materials, which, in addition to reducing rotational mass, work to decrease vibrations and increase rigidity. For example, using a forged steel crankshaft with 8 counterweights adds greater balance, therefore less vibrations. There's even cast iron cylinder liners, forged aluminum pistons, and an aluminum bed plate. So-called scavenging technology is said to increase low-end torque and mitigate turbo lag by increasing the flow of air between the intake and exhaust manifolds and controlling valve overlaps and angles, with an end goal of increasing combustion efficiency and airflow to the turbo. A helpful after-run pump keeps pumping oil through the turbocharger even after you turn off the car, making sure the oil cools uniformly to prevent damage from staggering hot oil in the turbo, which is why it's always good to give other turbocharged cars a good cool down period after driving. As far as fuel economy, the 4C requires premium and carries a 10.5 gallon tank. EPA estimated mileage ranges between 24 miles to a gallon in the city and 34 on the highway. Despite how it may look from the body lines, I guess you would call it the hood, is actually a fixed member of the body, so there's no extra storage space or anything like that underneath. The only bit of extra space you get is out at the back behind the engine. It's a small storage well about 3.7 cubic feet or so. It's lined in felt and just enough space for a few small items. Illumination for nighttime use, and there's also the option of a factory fitted car cover that stows nicely within the compartment. The cool thing about the 4C is the level of customization that you have. From colors to different wheels and tire sizes, exterior trim pieces, convenience features, and premium materials. You can have it bare boned with cloth upholstery or load it up as you want to fit your personal tastes. With the launch edition, you pretty much get every option Alfa Romeo offers, including supple leather wrapping across the doors and dashboard, sport seats with either a combination of black leather and microfiber offering plenty of grip, or sport red leather seats, in addition to the performance flat-bottom steering wheel. These options are available in the standard 4C when you check the leather package and track package respectively. Optional red or white double accent and cross stitching provides a tailored look, trimming the dash, steering wheel, seats, floor mats, and door handles. The race-inspired seats are designed with carbon composite shells. There's definitely more of a priority placed on overall support and lateral grip versus long-term comfort, but they are more comfortable than you think. For US cars, both the driver and passenger side seats feature manual adjustment. The detailing is wonderful, from the leather piping and double stitching to the flared upper backrest and stitched Alfa Romeo logo in the headrest. Even the back seat has some fine detail points to it, including the flowing lines, exposed carbon fiber, and high gloss finish. You also have a small storage pocket on the back. In the rear, though, you don't have any extra storage space. All of that is reserved for behind the engine like I showed you earlier. You do see a whole lot more of the carbon fiber tub back here, though. There's a slender window that gives a nice view over the engine compartment, and a rear cup holder, 12-volt power outlet, and a leather storage pocket. The interior environment does feel more accommodating overall than, say, like a Lotus Elise, but with the high and wide side sills of the carbon fiber tub, it still can probably be a little bit tight for taller individuals. The floor mats are screwed directly into the carbon fiber tub to keep them properly secure under high-performance driving. They also add a notable level of extra comfort. You also have aluminum floor-mounted pedals and a prominent dead pedal. One of the reasons why the US cars weigh a little bit more than the Euro spec cars, they added safety features. You have driver and passenger side airbags in addition to a driver's knee airbag, and side thorax airbags mounted in each door panel, in addition to an adjustable energy-absorbing steering column. The dash is entirely wrapped out of leather like I talked about earlier, with a carbon fiber speedometer binnacle and black headliner.
So let's go ahead and see if she sounds. So let's go ahead and shut her up. Solid doors.
The 4C comes with a basic 4-speaker audio system, but you could have the speakers upgraded to part of a premium audio group. I believe both setups feature the same Parrot Asteroid Classic head unit, an Android-based system that features Bluetooth and smartphone app integration. I haven't read the greatest reviews on it, but I honestly didn't find much fault with it. It seems to offer a lot of media flexibility and decent enough ergonomics to use your basic functions, with large, easy-to-see buttons and clear graphics. The audio system isn't anything to write home about though, especially since the car is pretty loud already, but it at least allows you to listen to your favorite devices with decent quality. All of the media device connection cables are actually located within the leather pouch underneath the passenger side of the dash, since you don't actually have a glove box. Whenever you're not within one of the respective audio screens, if you go to the home menu, you can use the volume knob to scroll through the different media options, go to the applications folder, and that's where you sync up your smartphone for things like navigation, real-time weather updates, and more. You can also continue down. There's an Asteroid Market where you can download extra apps, your various audio adjustments, as well as system settings. All of your essential buttons are clearly laid out on the face of the radio, including your hands-free calling. The chrome button on the far left allows you to pop the face of the radio out for extra security. There's no CD player, but there's a magnet behind it that'll help you locate the thing and hold it in when you're putting it into place. Small visors up top, manually dim rear view mirror, and interior illumination. Like I said earlier, the leather-wrapped dash is all finished in color accent stitching in this particular car. All of the pod air vents are also wrapped in leather. So really, everything aside from the center console is finished in soft padded leather. Continuing down the center stack, you have a bank of toggle switches right here. The right three in this particular car are functional for your air conditioning, lock and unlock, and heated side view mirrors. Down below are the controls for your simple climate control system and 3 rotary knobs: temperature, fan speed, different zones, and front defrost. Your different transmission modes and its carbon fiber housing like I showed you earlier, the various drive modes, your power mirrors, power windows, and hazard switch, leather-wrapped e-brake, 2 cup holders, and a 12-volt power outlet. You have a small storage pocket in the back. You undo the little clasp, open the leather flap. It's a little storage compartment, all lined in soft Alcantara. The cool-looking TFT instrument display houses a large tachometer and a digital speed readout in the middle. The left-hand side of the dash houses a driver information control system that shows up in the very middle of the screen. You can dim the screen if you didn't want it too bright, and then go between trip computers and things of that nature. Alrighty. We'll go ahead and shut her down. And check out the rest of the vehicle. The passenger seat is also manually adjusting, a unique feature to the US spec model. You have an aluminum kick plate down below for extra passenger comfort, and being that there is no glove box, there's a small leather patch underneath the passenger side portion of the dash here that you can set a little brochure into, and it also houses your media inputs like iPod auxiliary, other integration like we talked about earlier. The VIN plate is even riveted to the chassis.
Unique carbon fiber strip on the passenger side portion with the 4C Launch Edition logo. And you can also see a little bit more detail from this perspective of all the contrast stitching in the dash. Coming around the air vent, the airbag cover, and swooping around the other vent.
With the launch of the 4C, Alfa Romeo seems to have a real winner on their hands, combining sensuous looks, race-bred construction, and somewhat of a luxury feel, properly equipped of course. I for one look forward to seeing what else Alfa has up its sleeve. If the 4C is any indication, it should be quite exciting.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2015 Alfa Romeo 4C. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.